Right, this is replying to Louise Krinsky, who spoke to me on Twitter saying that she's got some German sausages. She doesn't know what to do with. So the only thing I could get in the way of German sausages are these premium hot dog sausages. But I've also got some of these English sausages. Good ones from the butchers. So I'm going to put together kind of like a bean and sauerkraut bake. And it is going to be like a bit of a one-pan wonder, kind of like stuck in a casserole, and we're going to throw it in the oven. But first thing, colour on the sausages. I'm going to try and get it nicely browned. Here, I've got one onion, so I'll just slice that. That's ready to go in the pan when the sausages come out. And I've got some ropey old celery. Thinly slice that up, so that can cook down quite nicely with the onions. You get a nice caramelised colour on those sausages. Here, I've got some old breadcrumbs that I've just blitzed up. Now here, it's a tin of white beans, okay, so I'm just going to drain that. These are flageolet beans. But you can use haricot blanc, kidney beans if you want. Any that are out of the tin and dry. I want to keep that liquor actually. I'm going to bring the bean stock up to the boil. So I'm going to stick in a couple of the crumbly stock cubes in it. The liquid here from the beans, it's got its own kind of like natural starches in to work quite nicely as being the thickening agent that works to make this kind of like sausagey casserole. Going to bring it out to the boil. Just make sure that the stock cube all dissolves whilst those sausages are frying. Okay, sausages have got lots of nice colour coming on them. That kind of stock from the beans has come up to the boil. I'm also going to put a spoonful, the last remaining spoonful of English mustard in this. Give that a stir round. Sausages, coloured up nicely. I'm going to stick them in the bottom of this casserole dish. And then here I've got the hot dog sausages. I'm going to put those in there as well. Kind of just like mix them up a little bit. And then in the pan where the sausages have been cooking, I'm going to add my onion and the celery with a little bit more oil. Now here, this is the sauerkraut. Okay, so you just buy this in a jar as it is. It's already cooked, pickled, fermented, whatever you want to call it. I absolutely love this kind of cabbage. It's fantastic. The flavours are amazing. Acidic, but then you've still got that lovely kind of cabbagey flavour. Little pinch of salt at this point, draw that moisture, some cracked black pepper. So this is one of those lovely springy summer cabbages. So I'm just going to take a few of those off. I'm going to keep the heart because I'll use that again for something else later on. This is actually proven to be a great learning curve, I think, for a lot of people about how to utilise food, how to make the most of it, how to get back in the kitchen, how to keep enjoying cooking. Try and keep waste to a minimum. Use everything up. Literally, what I'm going to do is just roll them up, including that middle crunchy stalk bit, and then just run my knife through it. So you can see now the onions and the celery just beginning to sweat down. And at this point, I'm going to add sauerkraut, 2/3 of the jar, and then the other cabbage as well. Just going to put that into the pan. So you've got two types of cabbage, onion and celery. I'm just going to cook it all out just a little bit, not too much, just so that it all begins to warm through. You'll see as the bit of heat comes into them, they begin to cook, they become vibrant and green. Now at this point, the beans that I've drained, just going to pour over the top of my sausages. So they pack in the sausages, okay? So they work like a kind of a binding agent, and they fill the gaps so everything can bake and cook. And then at this point, just going to put that on top of the sausage and beans, okay? You've got the sausage and bean at the bottom, and then you've got the sauerkraut and the summer cabbage, celery and the onion, and pack it right in, okay? So you pack it in as tight as you can, and then at this point, I'm just going to pour over the top that mustardy, chickeny stock from the beans, and that'll just soak all its way through. You can see it's gently just being absorbed by everything. On top of that, I'm just going to sprinkle on a load of this sourdough breadcrumbs. This is stale bread actually, so it feels a little bit dry and crumbly, but that's all right. It's going to give it a really nice crust. Just a little bit of melted butter, and I'm just going to just a little drizzle over the top. Great, a bit of cheese on that, not too much. I'm actually looking just for a little bit of flavour, but mostly what I want it to do is cook and melt, and that is about it. So I've got a little bit of Madras curry powder because I also think that'd be quite nice. So just a little sprinkling for flavour, colour. That goes into an oven, it's preheated, 185 degrees. I'm going to lob it in for around about, I reckon, half an hour. Now that has been baking, now I said about half an hour. Actually the reality of that It's been about 45 minutes and it's bubbling around the edges. The cheese is all melted. Take a oh, look at that. It's got a lovely crust on it. Rich. I'd say relatively healthy. I need a little taste. If you've got a load of random stuff in your cupboard and you want to know an idea to do it, just send it to me. I'll have a go at cooking it.